Okay, and we are recording. So, hello, Rafael. It is nice to be here with you today. Um,
Glenn, good talking to you again.
yeah, and Rafael, you are with the Collective Close. Is that the correct business name?
Right, that is the real estate business name that I
Okay.
put together probably prematurely, but that's what I was kind of racking my
Be-
brain over.
better to have it and need it eventually than just to need it and not have it, right? So
Right.
yeah, good for you for getting on that. I still need to put something together myself. I haven't done that yet. Um, So how it's a
Yeah.
great website actually. I was just on it, checking it out a little bit, and I actually really like it. It's super legit, so very cool. Are
Thanks.
you?
It made sense.
Yeah, no, it made great sense. It looked like you were doing a little, some EMD funding, possibly a little transactional lending, a little gap funding, and some paperwork help. So I don't know if that included like transactional coordinator. Like, are you
Right.
you
Yeah,
do
the plan
TC?
is to help to guide or help someone do the work paperwork properly,
Okay,
because that's one
okay,
of the things I hear through Pace when he's interviewing other professionals. They always say, can you teach brokers or agents how to properly fill out paperwork, or wholesalers?
right.
Um, so,
Okay, so now, where did you learn about that, or did you take a course, or is this you just learned from experience, or
so
how did you
I
put
don't
together?
actually know how to do it. It'll be a partnership that I have with someone here in
Okay,
Colorado locally that they are TC certified.
okay, so you're sort of gator wrangling a little bit, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're getting people in
So,
touch with the other people that need the services. So
right.
okay, very cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna back up a little bit. So I did a little YouTube stalking, and I came across some wellness and cooking videos. Um,
Okay.
so let's talk about Raphael wellness and cooking videos. And I did notice the timestamps were possibly around the pandemic. So I don't know, maybe that's something you were doing to kill some time during the pandemic, or but I want to hear a little bit about that. How did that get started for you, and what inspired you to put those videos up? There was an excellent. I think God, you were making pancakes. I think.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
burnt pancakes, I think.
were they pumpkin pancakes? Maybe.
They might have been,
Yeah, they
yeah. I
might have
think
been pumpkin
they
pancakes.
might have
They
been.
still look really good. What you call burnt, I still call edible. So that they look fine to me. Um,
Thanks.
But yeah, let's talk about that. So how did you get on that route there, and making some of those cooking videos and doing some looks like sort
Yeah,
of mental wellness out there?
right. So I think for a while I've been wanting to share the the uh, the wellness aspect of myself. For people who've known me for a while, know that I have so much training in alternative methods of healing, like
Oh,
similar to Reiki, but not Reiki, but definitely
okay,
meditation and sending energy. We don't send
okay,
anything, is my
okay,
belief,
all right,
but having that intention helps. And there's one of the things I've struggled is kind of how do I share this knowledge and how do I package it? And for some reason, I always end up in the kitchen. I always, um,
okay,
as much work as it is cooking from scratch, I tend to stay there a while and do it. And so I should just record stuff and just to kind of have fun with it. And that's where it
yeah,
started, was maybe an indirect avenue to share the wellness piece
okay,
through kind of funny cooking things,
yeah,
videos.
yeah, wellness
So,
through food. So
right.
because that what we put into our body is important. So
Sure. Totally.
yeah,
So
okay,
yeah.
so
And
yeah.
yeah.
And did you get some traction with it? Did how did
You
that
know,
go?
I I was definitely getting traction and interest, but my planning, there wasn't any planning. And so what would end up happening is like I would wake up hungry, and I'm like, I should make a video of what I'm going to do. And then
Right?
by the time I hooked up everything, which I was using cell phones for the
Okay.
angles, and that would take like an
Well,
hour
cell
or so.
phones. I hear multiple cell phones there. So,
Multiple cell phones, yeah.
okay.
I was being very creative and
All right.
resourceful. But by the time I would have that set up, it would be like an hour and a half, and then I'll be starving. And so it wasn't
Right.
very practical for me because, it's like 1 p.m. and I'm having breakfast. So I've been hungry for like 3 hours, 4 hours. So then
Right.
and then I kind of stopped. And I actually have a lot of recordings that I haven't published.
Oh,
Which
okay.
I should probably get into and maybe do some quick edits and throw them on there.
Now, did it take you, I just for my own personal curiosity, did it take you, so if you're doing these on multiple cell phones, for example, did it take you time to then get those pieces together into one clip? Like,
It
yeah.
didn't, because I was using Zoom,
Okay.
and all the cell phones were participants, and I figured out a way to,
That was clever.
yeah, when I wanted an angle, I would just go to my laptop and choose and maybe spotlight that cell phone, that participant, and I would have that angle.
Very clever.
Yeah,
Very
and then I would
clever.
go back and chop that out.
Okay.
You wouldn't know that I was walking away and
Right.
touching
Right.
to the laptop.
That
Um,
is that is so crafty. I just would not have thought to do that, but that's a very clever method. Yeah.
yeah, because I didn't
Yeah.
want to invest in software and cameras. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm
Right.
going to do this. But coming out here, those were all in Atlanta.
Okay.
But now coming to Colorado, and after my move coming up in December, I plan to start recording the kitchen.
Okay. You're gonna hop back to it. You're gonna get back to it.
Yeah, it's something that I don't know. I could talk about. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out what I could talk about while I cook, or maybe just the ingredients. But
Okay.
I feel
Okay.
like I should be out there. I have a lot to share that I think would help
All
many
right.
people that I'm kind of just holding it in, and that's not good. So
Yeah, no, definitely get it out. It sounds like it's something you definitely have a passion for, right? So it's like you want to get it out to the world. So
right,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. When how did you get started down that training? Like, I know you have a degree in psychology, right? You and I had talked about how we're both psych degrees.
right.
But how did you then get led into the world of sort of a holistic wellness and healing?
Yeah, I have a friend that introduced me to one of his friends years and years ago. And I was like, okay. Basically, he wanted me to have this spiritual session with his friend George,
Okay.
and George ended up doing an intuitive reading, which is basically someone that is in a meditation state, and
Okay.
they get
All right.
these answers from the universe.
Okay.
And so he did one of those sessions for me, and the information he had given me was a lot of help. And so that must have been during the summer. By the fall, I was calling George, said, "Hey, do you teach this? Can I learn it?"
Ah,
And
okay.
so by I believe that December, maybe 2008 is when I took
Okay.
a certification. I have so many acronyms in my head for Medicare. I can't think of the right acronym, but
What
it
the
was a teaching from Connie Newton, who has passed now.
Okay.
And she was like a clairvoyant and intuitive person, and she had trained George. And so I was learning it. I was learning her program through George.
Okay.
But it was great. We learned all kinds of mystical tools to
Okay.
use,
All
and
right.
that started the path on the spiritual side. And I was also learning the academic side, so I had these two parallel tracks going,
Okay.
but with very different methodologies and ways of interacting with an individual. So
That
it
is
was,
fascinating.
yeah. So
Wow.
it was very, and it's very fascinating. I think for some that I think I'm still trying to make my profession.
Right. Okay. All right. So, and that cannot be an easy road to hoe either. I don't think.
You know, for me, it
Maybe
hasn't, but
easier in Colorado than in Georgia, but
I
yeah.
think so. I had actually moved to Asheville, North Carolina. Hello, Ashevilleans.
Okay.
And to open a spiritual practice up there, but that didn't work. It didn't
Okay.
work for me. And I would see others move into the city, and their practices would like blossom. But I think I was trying to do something. I think I was trying to force my skills into a box that weren't the right
It
box.
wasn't the right fit for you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I think being humbled, I think, well, I am open to a different way of sharing it and and putting it out there. So maybe not so much on one-on-one, but maybe teaching about it or um, helping other professionals, which is,
Okay.
I think that the Launchpad program through PACE, are you aware of that?
Yes. Yes. With Dean Graziosi.
Right. And
Yes.
Tony Robbins. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm in that program too. And through that, I'm
Okay.
coming up with a way to help mental health professionals.
Okay. That's brilliant. That's awesome. So
Yeah,
and it's so far removed from REI. So
it is.
so so you're on this one level here, and then so how in the world then did the pendulum swing and you got into the real estate world? Was there a specific event that happened that kind of thrust you into it, or you just thought, hey, let me check this out? Like, what happened?
It, what was it? I think for me, it's so one of my history has always been, I've always struggled financially for whatever
Okay.
reason. It's one of the things I hadn't been able to crack. And
Okay.
I've been doing well now for a few years. And so,
Congratulations.
thanks. And so I somehow came across Pace uh, in the last 2 years. I don't know how that came across, but YouTube for sure.
Okay.
And I was just listening to this guy, Pace Morby. And at some point, I was like, I can do this with the creative finance, having one of the methods is to have the person who's selling the property to finance the deal. They just keep the mortgage and we just take over the payments.
Right. Right.
But getting to that point takes a lot of getting to know that individual and actually wanting to help them. I mean, not just wanting the property, but really listening
Right.
to their story and where we can be of a helping hand for them. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like therapy.
Right. Okay. There you go. Okay. So yeah, like Chase says, like find the bunnies, find the
Right.
problems, and
Find the
help the
bunnies.
people with the problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
not.
so
It's
I'm
not about
like,
the house. It's about the problems. Right.
totally. And I
So
was like, I could totally do this. Uh,
okay.
and so I waited until I moved to Denver to jump in, but I jumped in Gator, not Sub 2. I don't know what happened in
Okay.
that cell worked, but I totally wish I'd been in Sub 2.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm kind of realizing that as well. Like I went into Gator, and as I'm learning more, I'm like, oh, I think I might want to be in the sub 2 group. But like, let me
Yeah.
just at least finish what I started here and see what I can make of it before I go like taking on a whole nother challenge or something. But yeah, I know what you're saying. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's been a great learning curve, and I just feel like I'm like the last 8 months of Pace Morby videos in my head are all Sub 2.
They are okay.
They're not transactional lending
They're not the transactional lending.
microfinance.
Yeah, they're all the sub 2 videos. Yeah, well, and there's still so much information out there. It's funny because every now and then I'll be watching a video and I'm like, oh, that paperwork, that whatever information would be really handy, or he'll reference a video and I'm like, shit, it's in the sub 2 vault. Like I don't have access to the sub 2 vault. So yeah, I
Right.
get that.
So,
I get
in
that.
the future.
Yeah. So, well, so you've been studying and digesting information. It sounds like for several months, and you've got your collective closer or the collectiveclose.com website up.
Right.
How is that working out for you?
It's coming along. I joined in March 2023,
Okay.
and I went out and met people through meetup groups. A lot of them were
Okay.
in meetup groups,
Okay.
and that was a great way to meet folks. But as I was building a contact list, I dropped the ball. I got discouraged. I don't know why, because I would make contacts, but I wouldn't hear back from folks, or it would take a
Right.
while.
Right.
And so and I'm like, let me come back to this
Okay.
and spend more time, and not care whether someone gets back to me or not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah. And so lately here, I've been coming back to it, and I actually know more about Gator than before.
Okay.
Because I went to a meetup here a few weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, I'm actually helping wholesalers, mainly new wholesalers.
New wholesalers. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Was
for
was
micro,
it a
for,
wholesaler meetup, or was it a meetup through the Gator community, or what was the meetup through?
it was a meetup through the Gator community, but I'm pretty sure they're also on meetup.com.
Okay.
Herd of Profits is the group
Oh
here.
yeah. Oh yeah. Herd of Profits. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So they're based out of Colorado.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm actually part of that group, and I do wish I was a little bit closer to go to the meetups.
right. But they were
Yeah,
great.
I hope to be joining some meetups, and I'm just still getting settled in Oregon, so I'm hoping once I get settled in there, I might be able to find some uh, sub 2 or Gator meetups to go to in the area to connect and meet people a little
Yeah.
bit
I
more
would
personally.
go to any real estate meetup.
Yeah,
Um,
just making connections, shaking
yeah.
hands. Yeah.
Yep. Totally. And so there's a couple people I still have to follow up on from this last meetup, but it's been great. I've met some awesome folks and we're kind of going back and forth with ideas. So it's nice.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I've just put down. I have a list of foreclosures that I need to skip trace and track down, and start making some phone calls on and see if anything fits the appropriate buy boxes and stuff like that. So I'm just now starting to try to tackle that piece of the pie.
Right.
So yeah, still very much at the beginning stages.
That's nice.
But
So
a little bit at a time. It's forward progress. Is it's slow progress, but it is forward progress. So
right.
that's all you can do. Life throws curveballs sometimes, so you got to adjust your timelines and this and that, right? So
Sure.
yeah, but that's great. That's super great to hear that you're already making some connections. And have you made any deals yet?
No deals yet.
Okay, a lot of
Done yet.
connections. So that's good. The connections
And
get you the deals, right? So that's what we learn.
right. Yeah. And
So
so that's the thing, finding, getting involved, building the network to know where the deals are happening and those people knowing that you can help them in those
right,
transactions.
right,
So,
right.
but one of the things that I have come across a lot is there's a uh, large or a need for PMLs, private money lenders.
Okay.
That is the one thing that are like private money lender. I'm like, no. And
Well, yeah, because
I mean,
the
we
catering is
could do that.
more it's a joint venture, not lending. So
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So people are wanting like 50,000, 100,000 or more
yeah,
for a project that's going to take a few months. And so, you know, do I change strategies and fulfill that need?
right.
Because I've come across more of those than EMDs. But I'm not connected with new wholesalers either, but which I'm working on.
Okay.
So yeah, so FYI.
Now, is this a sort of a more of a side hustle for you right now? Do you still have a 9 to 5?
So this is a side hustle totally,
Okay.
and my 9 to 5 is health insurance,
Okay.
mainly
Okay.
Medicare.
All right.
So
That's
helping
right.
folks understand that mess.
That is therapy in and of itself, right there. So
Right, it sure can
having
be.
insurance, broken down to the layperson is therapeutic in and of itself. So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how did you get into the insurance field?
That happened during the pandemic, I believe. There
Okay.
was there was a friend that would host Zooms, like a
Okay.
coffee kind of just to talk, get to know folks.
Yeah. Be social while we're stuck indoors, kind of
Right.
thing. Yeah.
And so I met now friend Harvey there, and he had mentioned something about needing help with his business
Okay.
and with systems and processes. And I'm like, oh, I've done that before. I can help you.
Okay.
And I had totally forgotten about that because like 4 or 5 months later, he sends me an email or a calls and said, "Hey, you're still interested in trying to help me with this?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
sure." So that's kind of how I got into the insurance
Okay.
business. So
Okay. So
because he keeps saying, "Come to the sell side, help me sell, then we can have someone do a lot of the admin stuff." And so that's what I'm doing right now is getting ready to sell Medicare for the upcoming season.
oh my
So
goodness, That sounds like a really daunting task, actually. Ooh, yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's not bad. I think for me, it's just getting medications and spelling those words, but it'll be fine.
Yes, spelling the words. Yeah, there are some good words in there. That's for sure. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, let's. I'm going to try to get back onto the REI a little bit. So you're doing a little EMD funding is what you're like. What are you hoping to get out of the real estate investment world? Like, what's your goal? Do you have some overseeing dream that you're trying to accomplish and reach through this process?
I think what I'm trying to reach, and I was thinking of this a few days ago, like what is my vision with real estate?
Yeah.
Because it feels so foreign to me. Like I don't,
Yes,
like
I
I'm still
agree.
trying to figure out what I like about it and where do I want to be within the industry. But frankly, it's just to have cash flow.
Okay.
I think was the initial jump. You had asked me earlier, what was what catalyst for getting me into real estate? I think it was an easy way to create some cash,
Cash flow. Yeah.
5-figure cash, 4 or 5-figure cash chunks coming in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it's still that. But as the more I listen to Sub Two, trying to help people that are in foreclosure, or
Hmm.
that sounds like okay, it's kind of familiar to me. That
Yeah.
empathetic, emotional aspect of it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yes.
so ultimately, having a portfolio of multifamily
Okay.
properties that are kind of working, chumming along.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so do you? What is your vision? I don't think I asked you. What is your vision in real estate?
Uh, I, what I'd like to do is build a community for, those that I care about and love, and those that want to come and be cared about and loved, I guess.
Right.
So it kind of started with my mom. My mom's getting older, and I want to be in a place where I can have her live with me or on the same property with me. So we're a little bit closer, because there's going to reach a point where I'm probably going to start taking over and just helping her do stuff.
Mhm.
And with that, it was like, okay, well, how would I do that? Like, I don't necessarily want her in the house with me. Like, so we would need to get like an ADU. And in order to do that, well, we need a little bit of land. And how do we go about finding the land? And where is the land going to be? And such. So as I started thinking about that, I was like, well, why stop with mom? Right? Like
Mm.
like between my wife and I, my wife always finds people in need. She's just a magnet. And she's such a good person. And so, we just know so many people that need help for one reason or another. Maybe it's somebody who's not in a really good relationship situation, but they also are having difficulty getting out of it because they have nowhere else to go.
Mhm.
Or, maybe, somebody's stuck in a house where there's lots of drugs and alcohol and they can't get out of that house. Or, maybe somebody is just have a hard time. They need a place to chill out while they land back on their feet. I feel like we know so many people that just need a little hand. And if they just had a
Mhm.
place to come where, they could just get a little lift and,
Right.
get their feet back under them and have some support, um, they'd make it on their way and they'd be okay and get up and running, but they're just not afforded those opportunities. Um, and so it was like, okay, well, how can I build a community where, these people that we come across and that we love and, they become our friends, how can we help these people? Because, putting them up on our couch is not the way to help them. That's, it's not even a Band-Aid, and in a lot of cases, we can't do that. Maybe they have young children or they have animals or there's other stuff going on, and we can't put them up on our couch. So all we can do is, listen to their horrible story situation and be a lending ear, and that's about it. And so that, I think, part of it is where it started, is like I want to build a community, and that community would have homes and buildings and I mean for lack of a better word, it almost sounds like like a self-sustaining complex or a condo, but that has a very cult vibe to it, and that's
Right.
not what I'm going for. So, but I just thought it would be nice to have some sort of a community
It
where we
it
could
sounds
have
like
our
a halfway house or sober living or something around that.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny enough, I mean, I guess we know some people in some straits, but yeah, so just building some kind of a community where the
Right.
people we know and love can come together and support each other.
Wow. That's
Not
beautiful.
just for somebody to come and sober up necessarily, but
Right.
we can all contribute to them and they can contribute to us, and we all contribute to the whole and move on. So, and I don't know how to do that, or where it's going to happen. The first thing I need to focus on really is just finding a place for my wife and I where we can get a little piece of land and then get an ADU up for my mom, and then we'll expand from there. We'll go from
Yeah.
there.
That
Um,
sounds beautiful.
so yeah, that's I think that's kind of where I'm listing. So it's somewhat self-serving, but at the same time, like it's I don't think I'm quite ready to look at like the big, like how can I help the world or global hunger or like human trafficking or some of the big things that Pace and a lot of our mentors do. Like I'm just
Right.
not quite there yet. But I can see building a community for people that I at least know and love, and being able to be a place for them to come and
Right.
recover, get back on their feet, or just join and move on. Who knows? So yeah.
That vision is similar to what I have for the wellness part.
Okay.
That's the wellness piece I have more crystallized is real estate. Although as as you were
We'll
talking,
need a wellness center on our place.
there you go. Hey, it might work. But there is a property here in Colorado that it's an abandoned. I think it's a large Catholic church, but to me it looked more Arabic than
Okay.
Christian.
Okay.
But an idea is like it'd be great if I can buy that and have Christians, Muslims, and Jews congregate there.
Just yeah, a
And
recreational religious community center. Like
right.
just yeah.
And that's something I would want to do. I mean, that's part of, I guess, real estate. So more that's on a more personal side, I guess, that I could do
Yeah.
with real estate. And the other piece with real estate would be to house blockchain servers. So supporting
Oh,
the infrastructure of blockchain.
okay.
That would be something I would like
Wow.
to do. So I can just buy a warehouse, I guess.
Yeah, and just fill it up. Yeah.
Right.
Goodness.
So, but I don't. That's very different from a multi-family thing. But
Right. Right.
um, I don't know. Maybe I can have a multi-family and in the basement have these servers running without anyone knowing.
Servers down, yeah, servers down below in the base. Well, yeah, well, especially depending on where you're buying, there's lots of basement rooms in some cases. So
Right.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, that'd be kind of cool if you could figure out how to marry those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
In
that'd
fact,
be.
that's kind of my thinking coming along. Should I actually buy something?
I mean,
And
why couldn't you? Because I mean, I don't know what you need for blockchain server support, but as far as space and size goes, but I mean, there's in the Bay Area, I'm sure that it's all over, but in the San Francisco Bay Area, there's all kinds of, malls where it's like, the little businesses down below, but then all the apartments are up top,
right,
and so like,
right.
why couldn't you do the same thing, but with the blockchain servers, below or something like that? So,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
it's doable. I think
Yeah.
it's doable.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, what else can you tell us about yourself? I feel like I'm not asking very probing questions. So what is something that you do for fun? Obviously cooking is a big thing for you, because you wouldn't be taking the time to do it and video it and then post it on YouTube if it's not something that you love. So,
Right.
so do you have a specific wheelhouse of cooking that you just love to do, like baking or Italian, or you like Thai
No,
food or
my
salads?
I think my focus would be is to cook very clean meals.
Okay.
And so I follow Anthony William, better known as a medical medium.
Okay.
And he has a lot of he's helped many individuals, millions maybe, getting saving them from Hashimoto's and autoimmune diseases.
Okay.
So
Wow.
through
Through
very clean eating.
okay.
So a lot of herbs, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits. So basically, when I look at these recipes, I'm like, oh, I want to do that. But I think something else I tinkered with earlier years ago was baking cookies,
Okay.
and trying to make cookies without dairy, without egg,
Oh,
without
how'd
ruining.
that work out?
Some of them came out really well, but I have not been able to replicate the recipe.
Oh, that's rotten luck. That's rotten luck.
And so and here's the worst part. This is the worst part is that there is a recipe that I was following, but I was rushing to go to a gathering and I just threw things together and they came out phenomenal. When I follow the recipe, it does not come out the same.
Oh no! So you did something magical that you
I
cannot
did something
recreate.
there, and so I must have not had an ingredient that I substituted it and I'm like, oh my god, I can like sell these. I could package these and put them
Yeah,
on
these are amazing. Yeah.
Etsy or
Shoot.
but yeah. So it would be, so a couple of things that I crave in my life is, healthy food is not fast. If you're
No, it's
chopping
not.
if you're chopping it and then sautéing it and then prepping and cleaning, that's a lot of work.
Hmm.
Vegetables are a lot of work in general.
Yes, they
And
are.
so I would love to just drive somewhere and get takeout that doesn't have highly processed oils, that doesn't have any synthetic ingredients, that doesn't have any fake colors. And that you don't find that even in restaurants nowadays. Most of them don't cook things; they just heat things up.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah, I was just somewhere, and it was a fast food eatery, but I think the person that I was with didn't really realize that it was quite as fast food eatery, and like whatever she was ordering was out, and so they like went in and like pulled something out of the freezer and just ripped it open, dumped it into the deep fryer and set it in, and I was like,
done.
there's your whatever, and she was just like I was like, what? It's like, yeah, they're not making it back there from scratch. Like, what do yeah, I mean, it's sad, but it's true. And and I think the other thing, like clean eating doesn't just, there are certain foods that probably do not fall into the clean eating category, I would imagine, right? So,
Right.
it's not just about, not putting preservatives or the whatever on your foods or limiting sugar. It's also just about certain foods in general that are maybe not so great for our bodies. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. That's something I could buy a commercial space and put a little store, have juices and clean
Little
meals,
clean living cafe.
something like
So,
that.
so Subway's slogan is "Eat fresh," and I, from what I'm hearing from you is that they're probably lying to us. Maybe Subway isn't as fresh as we think.
Maybe I don't. Their meat. I don't know where their meats come from. I mean,
I don't either.
Vegetables in there, they're probably fresh.
Yeah, I will say Subway is like my go. Like if we're gonna have fast food, Subway's typically my go-to fast food because it's just more tolerable.
Right.
But I feel not really phrase that. I feel less guilty about eating Subway as fast food than I would about eating a number of the other options that are out there. So
Right.
yeah,
Chipotle is not too bad. They're all right.
Oops, sorry, you got a little jumbled there. Say that again.
Chipotle is not bad. Can you hear?
You got all frozen there, Rafael. Oh wait, you're back now. There you are.
Am I back?
Yeah. I don't know what happened. There was a little glitch there for a couple of seconds. So yeah, we missed what you said.
Yeah. So Chipotle is not bad.
Oh, Chipotle. Okay.
Yeah,
I do like Chipotle. Yeah, Chipotle is good. I always feel like they're like if they don't have a drive-through. So like Chipotle is probably like a step above from like your typical fast food is kind of. I'm like if they have a drive-through, I don't know, but so I sort of rank them on whether or not there's a drive-through. I do love Chipotle though. Yeah, I do love Chipotle. We get that a lot out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but food can be difficult. So that's what I would like, is to have a place where I can just eat something healthy without spending an hour or two making it.
Yes, yes. Cooking healthy and well, it takes time. Like you said, it takes time. Vegetables take time to prepare and cut and dice and get it all done, and let alone shopping for it and then keeping it, in your fridge long enough while it's still good and eating it before it goes bad. That's my bigger issue. I get the vegetables and I get them home, but then by the time I get around to cooking them, they're all wimpy and gross, as I didn't get to them in time for whatever reason. So that's my failure there.
Yeah, well, practice, I guess.
Yeah, practice. Yes, I suppose so. I actually do enjoy cooking. It's just I think for a long time I was, the kids being in college and I was living by myself. My wife and I weren't living together yet, and it was just like it's just me, and just there were nights I would just get a frozen waffle out of the freezer. I didn't even bother to toast it. I just ate the frozen waffle as it was.
Oh wow!
I know, it was sad days, I guess. Yeah, it was just like, it's. That was when I was still having my W-2 days, and it was like a really long commute, and it was just kind of terrible. And I think I was just so tired coming home all the time that it was just like, even just making a bowl of cereal was too much effort. So it was just like I either just would skip a meal altogether and just be like, forget it, I'm just going to go to bed. I'll chew on some gum or something. It's just grab a little frozen waffle out of the freezer and munch on that before I passed out 30 minutes later. I'm glad those days are behind me right now, but I will say I do miss the security of having a steady paycheck, because right now I don't, and that is not an easy place to be.
Just stay focused.
Stay focused, right? Yeah, just stay focused.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's one of the things in becoming, I guess, more financially secure was what it felt like for me was, if you can imagine running, maybe in a forest or desert, you're just running, and as I'm running towards there's this awareness in the back of my head that I could be doing better. That why am I here when I was working a W-2? Like, I don't deserve to be treated this way. And it's just like that awareness in the back of my head is like me jogging somewhere. And finally, when I realized that it's time for me to leave and to do something different, it's as if I'm running towards a cliff. And it's like, am I really going to do this?
Am I going to jump off it? Yeah. Am I really going to jump?
Am I really going to jump? And, on that, when the moment comes and the decision is made, it's like, I felt like I literally jumped off a cliff.
Yeah.
I'm in free fall.
Yeah.
And looking back now, it's not that I was in free fall. It's that I had actually stepped on a path I didn't know was there.
It's a new direction.
The new direction. It's like I don't know if the Indiana Jones film where he's, I think, after the cup, I think, and he's in this cave and he looks at the scribes on the wall, and they show someone walking on air across.
Right.
He takes a breath and steps, but he steps on this bridge that's camouflaged really well.
Yes. He just has to take a leap
of faith. The illusion is that I'm going to fail, right? And the courage and having faith in that where my heart's leading me is the right place. And
that's beautifully said, right? You just have to keep believing that you are headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
So, and that you will get there, even if the direction might change. So,
right.
And like we said earlier, it's just 1 foot forward. Just like it might be slow progress, but it's still progress, right? The important thing is we're not going backwards. So we're not going backwards, and we're not standing still. So just one foot forward at a time. And just like I'm like, okay, like I got one interview down with Rafael today. That's good. We got that. We'll move on to the next thing. So we're getting there. So cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't really have anything else to ask you, Rafael. I think we've been on for about 40 minutes, and
this is good.
Yeah, I had a nice chat with you, though. I'm so glad we got to connect and converse and learn a little bit more
Likewise.
about you than I knew earlier. So that was great.
Yeah, thank you for facilitating. It
Yeah.
was enjoyable.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to end the recording, but if you want to stay on, we can chit chat for an extra second. So let me just go
Yeah.
ahead and end it. And all right.